Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our feature video of our Antepost series, our first episode of the Antepost series that we're bringing you. Now, this went down really well last year, the Antepost series. We had about 4 or 5 episodes leading up to the festival. Jack and I, look, we had a couple of wins, a few places during the series. Jack, hopefully a few more this time around. I mean, look, it's all the lead up to Cheltenham now. We're seeing some of these stars come out, although last weekend we didn't quite see all the stars, but I mean it's leading up to that big moment in March, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Of course, we had the November meeting, as you said. I mean, that really kickstarts kind of looking forward to the festival. I'm sure we would have had a couple of winners unearthed there. Who those exactly are, we'll probably find out in due course. But look, I mean, last year we were a tad unlucky, but we had a lot of value. I know, of course, you had Sir Gerhard at 5-1 for the Ballymore. I managed to have Langerdan at 16s before he fell. There's a few other bits of value in there. Galopin de Chambre at 25s as well. So yeah, we knocked on the door, but hopefully we can have a few more winners this year.
Yeah, hopefully so. And you'll probably find that during these episodes, they're going to come once every month. So there'll be 4 or 5 episodes, like I say. I think Jack and I will probably do kind of an Antepost look at the championship races around January time, just after the new year, where we've seen a lot of the potential contenders out. So we will have kind of a special episode out around that time. But yeah, during these, we'll try and pick out a couple of winners leading up to the festival. So we'll probably have about 10 horses each come March, and hopefully have a good portfolio, and a few winners would be ideal. So, Jack, I'll let you kick things off with the first episode. Who is your first pick for the Antepost series?
The first pick is going to be a double-figure price, just a double-figure price. It's going to be Chemical Energy for the National Hunt Chase, of course, trained by Gordon Elliott, trying to take the exact same route as Galvin took when he won this. Of course, you have Gael de Menil at the top of the market there at 4-1. He could, of course, just be way too good. Of course, in this company, still stepping up to 3 mile 6. But he's still got a little bit to prove in my eyes. And I mean, at 4-1, I think at this trip he probably has. He's not really too much of a value play for me. I mean, if he goes in Hacksaw, he probably goes 2-1. You're probably looking at second and third there. But I think Chemical Energy should be in the frame if all goes well come March. I mean, his run in the free runner race at Cheltenham, I thought, was pretty exceptional. I mean, yes, he still looked a bit novice. I think he made 3 or 4 mistakes on the way around. Davy Russell kept him 3 or 4 wide just for the better ground. But I mean, he jumped really well into the race. He travelled delightfully and picked up his 2 rivals and ended up beating them by 60 lengths. I think because it was a 3-runner race, people were kind of squashing the form a little bit. But I mean, the time was actually quite good. I mean, if you compare it to Lord Accord, who won on the same day, it ended quite favourably. Of course, it was slightly over a different distance, but if you take that into account on the sectionals, and it was actually quite a good time. And I think 10-1, looking back, I know that's definitely the plan. He's going to be kept fresh. He likes it fresh. Hopefully the ground will be okay. It's very similar to Galvin for me. I think the further he goes, the better he's going to go. And hopefully Chemical Energy at 10-1 will be looking at a little bit of value there come March.
There we go, 10-1 Chemical Energy for the National Hunt Chase. I think that's the final race on the opening day. So looking forward to seeing how that horse gets on throughout the season. My first selection comes in the Gold Cup, and it's going to be a horse that I was a big fan of last year, and it's L'Homme Presse for Venetia Williams, obviously usually ridden by Charlie Deutsch, and Charlie Deutsch hopefully get the ride come the Gold Cup in March. We didn't get to see the horse last weekend. We were obviously scheduled to see his horse. We'll quickly discuss that because Jack and I didn't put a video out, and the reason behind that was due to the fact that we had such small fields. We had so many short price favourites, and look, it wasn't really a betting proposition. So look, in terms of the fact that Constitution Hill, Edwardstone, L'Homme Presse didn't turn up, it probably was worth us not discussing those for a good 30 minutes, because in the end we didn't get to see them, and look, we'll hopefully see them in due course, potentially L'Homme Presse this weekend. But look, this horse here was so good last season in the Dipper and then in the Scilly Isles, then went on to obviously win the Brown Advisory at the Cheltenham Festival. Now, we know this horse does like soft ground, and that was shown at the weekend where they pulled this horse out. I don't know whether it's actually that key. I mean, I think if it was kind of good to soft come the Cheltenham Festival, I'd probably still think we'd see the horse in a Gold Cup, but we know soft ground is key to this horse. I described him last season as possibly one of the best jumpers of a fence that we've seen in recent years, and I just think he's so clean over a fence. And Venetia Williams, I mean, she's just about to start hitting form by the looks of things, and this is definitely her stable star. And I know the owners wanted to run last weekend, but Venetia definitely wanted to protect the horse, so you can tell that she's been very careful with this horse. Going to pick out a couple of races, I'm sure, heading into March, and I think L'Homme Presse around 10-1 for the Gold Cup, I think he's a decent bet. Just right off that mild May run, I think a few of those horses just had a long season. We saw Brave Man's Game flop in that race at Aintree as well. So I'd ignore ignore that and just hope for a big season going forward with L'Homme Presse for the Gold Cup. Jack, your second selection.
Yeah, very interesting. I think A Plus Tard drifting to 12s is very interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if A Plus Tard is actually quite a bit of value. I'm surprised he's actually drifted 8 points, mind you. But it could be kind of like an Alti or surname thing. Perhaps he's bottomed out in that Gold Cup. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see. The next one I'm going to do, and I know quite a few people aren't going to like this, and they're going to say an Irish thing's probably going to come out and win it, which is probably true with these novice hurdlers. But Hermes Allen, I thought, was ridiculously impressive. At the November meeting, the clock suggested that. I think as a second run as a novice, it's probably the best and most efficient jumping performance I've seen from a novice in a long time. I mean, I thought he galloped them into submission from the front. I think he's very versatile. He's definitely going to stay 3 miles. But I think these front running tactics, he's very efficient. As I say, I absolutely love watching him jump a hurdle. Of course, nothing compares to watching those jumper fends. But I thought it was absolute like equine art watching him jump a hurdle. Of course, he's going to be a great chaser down the line. But he's 12-1, and I think that's quite a fair price if you look down the mark. You've got Facile Vega at 3-1, who I think at the moment probably is favourite to go to the Supreme. You've got American Mike at 5-1, and I wasn't really too impressed with American Mike on his hurdling battle. You've got Champ Carly, could be a little bit of a danger, if I'm being honest. Gaelic Warrior, not too impressed. Demand Driving Duvan's next in the market, and I think without the name Demand Driving Duvan and without his pedigree, I think he'd probably be about 1,600-1. Not seen 16-1 with what he's shown. So hey, I think Hermes Allen at 12-1. It's still on the short side, don't get me wrong, but I think it's not the worst price in the world in a field that could cut up. Yes, there's going to be 1 or 2 that we don't really know of, who are much further down in the market, who are going to come out of the woodwork, as we know. But I do think it was a very, very good performance. He's going to go to the Shallow, and if he does go and win that, and I know that Paul Nicholls, very much anyway, Ferguson is very keen to come back to Cheltenham in spring with 1 or 2 big chances. I know that Paul Nicholls sometimes goes to Aintree, but I think for Sir Alex Ferguson, they'll try and aim him at the Ballymore, and hopefully Hermes Allen at 12-1 is not the worst price in the world.
Yeah, he was really impressive, wasn't he? He really was. And I expect the Challow Hurdle, I think, is a target and a race that Nicholls likes to use, especially with some of these. And very exciting, Hermes Allen, and obviously Protectorat as well for the same owners. They could have a couple of nice horses heading to March for the Cheltenham Festival. So yeah, Hermes Allen around 12-1. Not a bad bet at all there, Jack. I'm going to pick one out, and it's going to be a Gary Moore horse to kick off the episode, kick off the series, sorry, for me. And it's going to be Botox Has in the Stayers Hurdle at 66-1. Now, this is probably a fairly bold shout, and everyone's going to think that I'm Gary Moore biased, but I could have picked out his Triumph Hurdle Hope. I could have picked out Goshen for some race. It was great to see him back to winning ways last weekend. But look, this horse here won the Stayers Handicap Hurdle at Haydock on Saturday. Now, I think this market here, looking at it, look, I know Flooring Porter will come on for his run. He's definitely the one to beat. There's no doubt about it. But you look at the market and it is a bit of a messy race in behind. You never know who's going to turn up in this race. And this horse here, listening to Jamie Moore just the other day, he was saying how much this horse could potentially still be improving and how much he could be showing, moving forward, that he could show a lot more. I mean, he's up to grade level. He did win a National Spirit at Fontwell, didn't he? So I know it wasn't the best race in the world, but he could definitely improve on that. And the fact that this horse here, he's very consistent at Cheltenham, you wouldn't be surprised to see him running on in something like a Stayers Hurdle. And I think 66-1 is a fairly big price. I just think that race, that Stayers Handicap Hurdle, I think I'll be watching a lot of those runners in behind closely, because I think that could work out to be quite a good handicap hurdle, actually. I think you could potentially see a few graded types in there. And like I say, look, this horse was second behind Shoot First for the in that per temps trial, and look, I would not put anyone off. You can actually back Shoot First, I think around 6-1 with some bookmakers for the per temps. Now, all I'll say is I'd rather be backing that personally than be backing John Bonnet at whatever price, 7-4, 2-1, whatever he is. I think he's a bit of a stupid price at this moment in time, but I'd rather be taking 6-1 about Shoot First for the per temps. But yeah, my tips going to be Botox Has. I think 6-1. He could be a decent each way play in the Stayers Hurdle. Now, Jack, do you want to just quickly discuss John Bon? Because
I really do, because it seemed like John Bon, this may be completely different to what other people think. It really surprised me how surprised everyone was by him shortening to 2-1. You look at the likes of Facile Vega, who hasn't actually jumped a hurdle yet, is the same price. Constitution Hills 5-4 up against the Queen. Allaho's 11-8, and it might not be seen until Cheltenham and everyone's surprised that John Bond shortened to 2-1. I found it. Don't even get me wrong. I mean, Galopin Des Champs could be a freak, but should he be 9-4 for a Gold Cup? No, absolutely not. I mean, I found it very intriguing that John Bond was the one who sparked this massive debate about there being no value in Antepost, when we got 4 or 5 examples there who haven't run over trips, haven't even jumped obstacles, who are much, much shorter for prices than John Bond has. When, yes, I mean, he was very, very impressive, don't get me wrong, 2-1 is not the price, but I mean, he was 4-1 before the race and did everything he was asked of him, and people were so surprised that he halved in price. I found it quite interesting that a lot of people found John Bond as the main example for that, when you got the likes of Galopin Des Champs and Facile Vega, who are the same price as him now, and also have a lot to prove. But no, it was very interesting to me. Don't get me wrong, he's way too short, but there are also a lot more who are also very, very short in the market, who don't really get picked up on as much as John Bond, so I found it very interesting.
It is fascinating, and look, I'm not saying that I'd be laying these horses, I'm just saying that this far out, I would not be touching them at their current prices. You know, if they got to Cheltenham now and they were all running it at the Cheltenham Festival tomorrow, then look, it's a fair price, obviously, but when we're 4 or 5 months out, it's just a silly price, in my opinion, so I wouldn't be taking that. But yeah, no, look, Botox has for me, and I think Shoot First for the per temps, I would not put anyone off that, because he's going to go there, only £7 raised, I think, for that last run, but yeah, look, the form there could be quite good, and hopefully Botox has can go and do the business, and then Shoot First maybe can enhance that. So we'll wait and see. And that's it for our first episode of the Antepost series. So Jack, you're with Chemical Energy in the National Hunt Chase, and Hermes Allen for the Ballymore, is that right?
Yep, spot on.
That's spot on. And I am with Long Press for the Gold Cup, and Botox has in the Stayers Hurdles. So there we go. We're sorry that this video was slightly later and delayed. Jack and I had plenty going on at the time over the last few weeks, but we're back to consistent way. So consistent, actually, that we're going to be back with you guys tomorrow with our weekend preview, where we're going to be looking at the Fighting Fifth and the Coral Gold Cup, the Ladbrokes Trophy, the Hennessy, whatever you want to call it. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully some big prizes to be pulled out from those previews. Looking forward to this weekend, Jack?
Yeah, can't wait, actually. I feel like we got a bone to pick with Remastered, so hopefully we'll be able to find the winner this year.
There we go. We'll have to see who Jack's going to be putting up in the Coral Gold Cup. You can see that tomorrow. Depends when you're watching this. But yeah, you'll see that tomorrow. And we've got some good action coming your way by Friday and Saturday from Newbury. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, thanks very much for watching as always. Do like and subscribe. Comment down below of any anti-post bets that you've currently had for the festival. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.